Yes. All of them? He's an accomplished shoveling coal here in Philadelphia. I'm afraid.
In the shadow of war and displacement, one man carried nothing but a dream and a blueprint. A visionary without a home, an architect without a voice. In the silence of a new land, he began to build, not just structures, but a life. From the rubble of the past rose a defiant vision of the future, cold, raw, and unyielding. This is the story of love, loss, and the brutal beauty of creation. Let's break down. This is The Brutalist. At the beginning of the film, we see a girl named Sophia in Europe. She was caught by German Nazi soldiers who were asking about her uncle, Laszlo Toth. Laszlo was an architect and lived with his wife, Elizabeth, and his niece, Sophia. But because he was a Jew, he had to flee from there and live in a camp. From that camp, he left for America. He came with his luggage and got out of the boat with his friends. When he came out, he saw that they had arrived in America. He was brought in with other refugees after showing his papers. The next day, Laszlo went to the bus stop with his camp friends. He left there by bus to Philadelphia, precisely in 1947, to meet his cousin named Attila. Attila informs Laszlo that his wife, Elizabeth, and his niece, Sophia, are still alive. Laszlo also became emotional. Then Attila invited Laszlo to see his furniture store, which he named Miller's Home. Attila also had a very beautiful wife named Audrey. Then Attila told his wife about Laszlo, where they are cousins and grew up together. Attila also gave Laszlo a room to stay in his shop. Not forgetting, Laszlo thanked Attila for his kindness in helping him so far. And Attila told that he had converted and become a Catholic, and about his marriage to Audrey. And after that, Laszlo was seen reading letters from his wife, Elizabeth. Elizabeth said that she felt safe with Sophia, even though she was still worried. The next day, Laszlo went out to eat with the other poor people in the city. There, he meets a black man named Gordon and his son. After the meal was finished, Laszlo told him that he would come early tomorrow, and they became friends. At other times, to earn money, Laszlo used to pickpocket things from people on the street. But he was always disappointed in his hands. Then Laszlo appeared to come to the church and told the priest of his plan to take his wife and niece there. Then he said that they would definitely try something. Long story short, Laszlo, as an architect, started designing furniture according to his style, where Audrey finds her style is very unique and futuristic. And Laszlo was happy with this. After 2 months, Laszlo and Attila met a very rich young man named Harry, who had worked with them before. And Harry now wants to turn his father's study into a library. As a surprise for Harry and his sister Maggie for their father, they started chatting and looking at the study room that was going to be renovated. Even though it seems small, Laszlo said that he would change it for the better. He is optimistic that people will really like his decorations, but it will also cost a lot to make. Then Harry asked, "How much does it cost?" Dan Laszlo asked for $2,000. Harry agreed. And Attila was also very happy, because it exceeded his expectations. He celebrated at home with Audrey and Laszlo. After a while, Attila fell asleep. Audrey told Laszlo that he could not stay in her house, because you are not a Catholic. Then Laszlo said that he would definitely do something about this. After a few days, work started on Harry's house. Many people were involved in it. They started to change everything. However, when moving the very large glass dome, it suddenly fell and broke. After 2 weeks, Laszlo was able to complete the renovation completely, making Attila happy too. However, unexpectedly that night, when Gordon was working outside, Harry's father, whose name was Harrison, came there. and he was angry to see a black man working outside his house. Moreover, when he saw the house and library in disarray, he became even angrier. Attila also explained that his son, Harry, had planned a surprise for him. However, his anger could not be subsided. He did not want black people roaming his property and changing his library because he thought it was perfect. Even though Laszlo had explained his son's wishes, Harrison still wanted them to leave his house with the black man. Finally, they left, saying that their work was done.
I will confirm this with my son in the morning.
After a week, Attila came to wake up Laszlo, who was still sleeping, and he said that Harrison had refused to pay for their work. Attila suffered many losses and expressed other disappointments, until finally, he said that he could no longer help Laszlo. Then Laszlo was very sad and returned to live in the homeless concentration camp with Gordon. To relieve the pain and forget her trauma, she falls into using drugs secretly with Gordon. Long story short, Gordon and Laszlo have now been working at the construction company for months. And one day a rich man came to meet Laszlo. It turned out he was Harrison. He wanted to talk to Laszlo. Laszlo said he could not leave his job prematurely. Then Harrison said that he would talk to his manager. Then Harrison came to the restaurant with Laszlo. He showed Laszlo a photo in a magazine. It turns out the photos were of Harrison's library, and the design of the library is said to be a very modern design, which only modern humans can think of. And Harrison also said that he also knew about Laszlo's old designs and his work from Attila. And he showed all his photos and designs, making Laszlo emotional seeing his old work. And he said, "Can I keep this?" Then Harrison said it was yours, where the design is so brutal that it was given the name Brutalist in the magazine. It's a shame that Laszlo came to America and left her behind. This was all because Laszlo had no other way. On this occasion, Harrison invited Laszlo Sunday to his house. He said that at that time, he shouted angrily at Laszlo because his mother was very ill, and 2 days later, she died. Harrison thought it was a sign from God, so he immediately looked for Laszlo. Not long after, Laszlo took his leave because he had to return to work. Not to forget, Harrison reminded him again to come to his house for a party. Harrison also gave money to Laszlo for his work renovating his library and paying off his debts.
I'd like you to come and enjoy it, rather. All right. Wonderful.
In the evening, after getting the money, Laszlo and Gordon came to a bar. There, they both happily spend their money and enjoy drugs. Sunday arrived, and Laszlo went to Harrison's party, picked up by a driver. Harrison welcomed him. He meets Harry and Maggie, sitting together at the dinner table, and Harrison began to praise Laszlo a lot. And then Laszlo said that his work has always been very different and has created many projects in his city. But because he was Jewish, he had to move here after the Holocaust. Meanwhile, his wife and niece are still trapped there. Then a man named Michael promised Laszlo that he would help his family to come here completely. Harrison added that Michael worked for the president. If he made a promise, he would keep it. As it turned out, everyone was very interested in Laszlo's library design at Harrison's house. Laszlo said that all this happened because of Harrison. There Harrison again said that he was very upset when Laszlo was at his house, because his mother was seriously ill. He invited him here, so that he could tell Laszlo many things. Long story short, they visited a hill with the others. Harrison said he bought the place in memory of his mother, Margaret. He wanted to create a community center where everyone could get inspiration from. And he wanted Laszlo to design it in a sophisticated way to make his dream come true. Then Laszlo said that this was a very big project that he could not do. But Harrison said Laszlo should do well. He doesn't care about the money and costs that will be required. He reminded that Laszlo's family would also be coming here soon. So Laszlo no longer needs to worry about this problem. Then Laszlo agreed. And Laszlo came back from there. After returning from there, Laszlo met Harry, who said that his father had given him the task of handling this entire project with Laszlo. The two of them will work together and make all the decisions. The next day, Harrison met Laszlo again. Then Laszlo said that he had started making the design and could show it. Harrison said he had a dream last night and wanted the design to match what he remembered. Inside there are places like a theater and a fitness center. He wanted his mother to have very beautiful memories. Then Laszlo wrote it down. After a few days, Laszlo began discussing the project with Harry and Michael. Harry tells about how to make it in a different way. Then Laszlo said that his father had told him to add many things. And then Harry said that he would talk to his father, where Harry also wanted a library and a chapel. Then Laszlo said that it would be very big. Then Harrison said that was no problem, and he just had to make the design. And there, Michael said that Harrison had saved a budget of $850,000 for this project. So Laszlo was required to be able to complete it with that much money. Then Laszlo agreed. And Laszlo started his project, and came to the location every day, and made his designs by discussing with Gordon. As a presentation, Laszlo made a miniature of the building they would build, and he explained it to the Harrison family. Hearing Laszlo's explanation, Harrison's colleague named Woodrow protested because Laszlo would use less interesting material. That's where Laszlo explains why he used those materials, which include concrete and marble. Laszlo answered, because that is the reason for the art form, and also the work that will be presented later.
Harry called, he described this to me as a timeline will need to be considerably adjusted.
Harry, where are we at with our discussions with the mayor's? Push him along. It's good.
Because the project to be built is so large, according to Harrison's direction, Laszlo is now presenting his work to investors.
We have the chapel interior at sunset, at dawn, at noon.
Long story short, because the required materials are very difficult to obtain, Laszlo had to wait months just to get the materials he needed. Even so, Laszlo and the other workers still started their tasks little by little.
Steel for the guns of war and the machine steel for trains and for rail buildings. Steel for bridges.
Éven át halottnak hitt bennünket. Így emlékül a szád. A keblemen.
1 month later, surprisingly, with Michael's help, Laszlo was finally able to meet his wife and his niece again. It was clear that they were happy because Laszlo had not seen his family for a long time. But here, Elizabeth shocked Laszlo because of the illness she was suffering from. Elizabeth now has to use a wheelchair.
Welcome to America.
Festettem a hajam.
Later, Elizabeth and Sophia were also taken to eat with the Harrison family. From their conversation, we are also told that Elizabeth is a graduate of Oxford University, America. No wonder his English is so good.
Laszlo, may I have a word? Just somebody we worked with on the department store downtown. Yes, he is. That's what we pay him for.
Sometime later, Elizabeth and Sophia were invited by Harrison to meet his acquaintance, with the intention of introducing him to Elizabeth, because that way Elizabeth could get a job as a journalist.
When ground breaks, he will have his hands full.
Penn Station Terminal was very...
I enjoy showing friends around Manhattan.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, Laszlo is furious with Woodrow because without his knowledge, Woodrow has collaborated with another architect named James. Because of that, the project that was going to be built later became chaotic and did not match Laszlo's wishes.
Sorry you found out this way, I really am. I'm already over budget this quarter.
Get it approved.
Well, we...
After that, Laszlo explained to several investors about the project he was going to build, this time while taking them on a tour. Until they arrived in the middle of the unfinished building, Harrison's colleague named Jim protested to Laszlo because Jim did not agree with one thing Laszlo did. Therefore, Laszlo, who remained firm in his stance, actually provoked Jim's anger. Luckily, Harrison, who was there, managed to separate the two of them.
Kim! You want to... I trust you. Thank you. They're inside.
As an opening, Harrison invited the mayor, Kenny, to join them as a sign that the project would soon be implemented.
2, 1!
Where the next day, Elizabeth was seen very happy, and laughed out loud when she heard Maggie's story about Harrison, who one day was very drunk. Besides, Harry approached Sophia, who was sitting alone on the edge of the lake. But it seems that Sophia, who doesn't like Harry, rushed to approach Elizabeth.
You alright?
After a while, they went home. Elizabeth was pushed by Harrison, but Laszlo looked annoyed and took over carrying Elizabeth. His annoyance, he told Elizabeth that he was very upset with Harry's actions and the other architects.
Expenses unforeseen.
Oh, so that's what the son kept alluding to.
Yes, he's a snake.
When she got home, Elizabeth looked at the designs and said, "If you weren't happy here, we could go and live in the city. There I will work as a journalist until you find a new job." However, Laszlo replied that they would complete the project.
The height of the ceiling. The glass above.
1 year has passed. The project work is progressing well. However, unexpectedly, the freight train that usually carries project materials came off the rails, causing a large explosion there. Because of this, Harrison was very stressed and angry, where the train was carrying 7 of his freight cars, and some people died. Harrison said that this news should not have been spread. Harrison also said that he had lost a lot because of this. He closed the whole project right away. He did not want to be considered the person responsible for this incident and have to pay for the damages. Harrison allowed Laszlo to stay in his project until he found a new place. Laszlo is very sad and leaves with Gordon. Laszlo apologizes to Gordon for not being able to pay his salary. Gordon replied, "It didn't matter, because it wasn't his fault."
Don't apologize to me.
I will give you some money while you look for something.
I'll be fine.
After returning from the project, Laszlo was very angry and was calmed down by Elizabeth. Long story short, 3 years later, in 1958, in the booming city of New York, Michael is seen coming to a building looking for Laszlo, who works there. Michael met him and Laszlo recognized him.
Michael.
That evening, Laszlo and Elizabeth had dinner with Sophia and her husband. Then Sophia and her husband said that they are now moving to Alayla. There is her husband's family there, so they will raise a family there. Laszlo and Elizabeth were happy. Sophia's husband will get a job there. They expressed their desire to live with other Jews. Then Elizabeth said that we can live anywhere, it's the same. Sophia invites Elizabeth and Laszlo to come with her. However, Elizabeth said that they both had jobs here that were going very well. Laszlo also said that today, he met with Harrison's man who wants to restart his old project. They were surprised to hear it. And Laszlo said that Harrison was ready to spend all his money again, and he had to go to Italy to buy marble this week. Then Elizabeth asked how many days he would be back. Then Laszlo replied that he would return in 10-12 days. That evening, Laszlo packed his drugs at home. They also traveled and reached the city of Carrara in Italy. His plan with Harrison to get marble from that place had been in the making for a long time, and Laszlo took his friend to see the marble on the hill. And they could see the beautiful piece of marble that Harrison likes so much. According to Laszlo, the marble was perfect for the community center. At night, they party in one place, and Laszlo danced with a beautiful woman there. And that's where Harrison started to notice Laszlo, where Laszlo went out to get drunk. After a while, Harrison went downstairs to look for Laszlo and found him lying somewhere in a drug-induced stupor. Harrison said, "Why did Laszlo destroy himself, even though he had a good job?" and he took off Laszlo's pants and had sex with him. He was helpless because he was high on drugs. The next day, Laszlo and Harrison left there. Laszlo asked what happened last night. Harrison replied that Laszlo talked a lot when he was drunk. Now that we are late, we have to go faster. In fact, Laszlo knew what happened to him last night. After a few years, work on the community center progressed very quickly and was almost completed. The architecture is very beautiful from the inside, with the height that Laszlo wanted. Some people were playing with the building's pillars, making Laszlo very angry, because it could be dangerous if it collapsed. Gordon comes to calm Laszlo down, but he instead chases Gordon away. He is angry, will not tolerate anyone's bad behavior, and then he took Elizabeth home. On the way, Elizabeth said that she wanted to see Attila, but Laszlo said otherwise. He did not want to talk to Attila, who had left him when he needed him. His wife was also a bitch for telling him to get out of the house. Elizabeth said that he had helped Laszlo a lot before. However, Laszlo still could not forgive Attila's mistakes. At night, Elizabeth suffered greatly from the pain in her body, which often happened to her. Laszlo saw that Elizabeth's medicine had run out. Elizabeth felt terrible pain. Laszlo was forced to take out his drugs and inject them into Elizabeth. Elizabeth's pain began to subside. Laszlo also took drugs, so they both got drunk. On the other hand, the marble installed in the community center looks shiny as a final work. And by then, Elizabeth and Laszlo were already in the hospital. Elizabeth asked Laszlo to tell her what happened last night. But Laszlo said that we don't know. Then Elizabeth said that she wanted to leave this place and return to her hometown. Then Laszlo realized that maybe last night he had told Elizabeth what Harrison had done to him. After a week, Elizabeth came to Harrison's house, where he was having a meeting with his team and children. Harrison asked Elizabeth to sit with him, but Elizabeth became very angry. She said that Harrison was a very bad person for raping her husband. Hearing this, Harry became very angry. But Elizabeth kept blaming Harrison. He didn't say anything, because Harrison really did it. Then Harry stepped forward and knocked Elizabeth down, dragging her out.
I'm sorry. Stop. I'm fine. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Harry told his friends not to leave the place, but they left anyway and said they would come back later. Then Harry went to see his father, but his father had disappeared. They had looked everywhere for him. Harrison is nowhere to be found. He has disappeared who knows where. And this is not shown in the film. Long story short, years later, Elizabeth is said to have died. And Laszlo's life was featured at the Biennial of Architecture exhibition in Venice. And one of them is also considered as the center of Margaret's community, where Sophia came there with Laszlo, who was quite old. And there Sophia began to tell about the work of Laszlo, who had experienced many things in his life. And because of that, he started to show his artistic inspiration from there. One of them, the large wall of the community center, as its design recalls the concentration camps of the past, which he had to hide in there, which was filled with many people. So why is it so long? It's because he never compromises on his designs. And in the same way, all of his designs are inspired by his life experiences. And in the end, Sophia said that Laszlo always believed that the journey to his success was not the journey, but the destination. That means the path to success is not the path, but the destination. Without this destination, the journey is meaningless. And with that, this best Oscar-winning film ends here. In a world that often breaks what it cannot understand, he built with purpose, not for applause, but for meaning. Through silence, through struggle, through sacrifice, he proved that creation is resistance, and beauty can rise from even the harshest foundations. The Brutalist reminds us, greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's made of concrete, steel, and quiet, relentless hope. We may not all be architects of buildings, but we are all builders of our futures, our identities, our dreams. And in the end, it's not what we leave behind, but what we dare to create, even when the world tells us not to. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the bell so you can receive the latest info from other inspiring stories from us. See you again. Have a nice day.